Yes, sir, baby. Welcome back to the frequency at On the Radar Radio. Today, the one, the only Rapsody is joining me today. What's up, sis?
What's up, man? I'm happy to be here in the bodega.
I ain't gonna lie, you really got us in like a good vibe today. Like we were both like, we're gonna take our shoes off. We both been running around today. Like,
exactly.
It's been a crazy day for you.
I haven't eaten. You haven't eaten. I'm short. My feet don't touch the ground.
You're not that short though. Is my couch my couch is not that high? Damn.
Let me be, man. Let
me
be.
That's crazy. How is this like? Obviously, like the album. By the time people seeing this album is either getting ready to come out or it's out.
Right.
How is this like press run so far been for you? How are you feeling right now?
Oh man, excited, free. It's been great feedback, response. I created it from a place of freedom and growth and experimentation, and I did a lot of it with Mr. Porter. He executive produced it from D12. I felt like it was 2012 again. You know, like you just get in there and do it and try things because you love it, and you just being free. That's what hip hop is,
right?
You know. But it just came with a lot of growth, some traveling to Africa.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been great, man.
We're gonna dive into all that because I want to because I know about the whole trip and everything like that.
Okay.
I was literally reading your Rolling Stone Africa cover the other day. I read like the whole thing. It was very interesting. I want to dive into that. But it's funny how you're talking about like it's 2012 again, because I feel like this has kind of been the year too that people have been like leaning into like nostalgia, but not just like nostalgia like of like not nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, but like nostalgia of like I feel like this year has kind of like not everybody, but a lot of people reverted back to like things in the past that have like inspired them to create new things. Like you talked about how like you feel more free now than you have before, right? What do you feel like, you know, because 2012 is a very specific year, because most people like, I'll say 2016 because I felt like that was like one of my most free years, right? But like for you, what is like the significance of like the year 2012 for you? Like why do you kind of refer back to that being like the most free that you ever felt?
Man, it was the year that I recorded and put out my very first album.
Okay.
Right? And those are the times we wait our whole life for. So I just recall like the excitement of it, the joy, like not even caring about awards or anything. I was just happy to put out some art that I created, you know, with people that I care about and they cared about the art like me. And it was just that free. Like I can't wait to put out this that I've been thinking and dreaming about forever, and for people to hopefully like it and feel, you know, any type of inspiration or anything at all from it. It's just like the excitement of that, you know, and I made something and I'm ready to give it to the world, you know.
It's kind of funny because like you hear artists talk about like the first album stories and like you know those early days, and it's kind of like it's hard to keep that same type of love as you go through, you know, everything that, you know, I've been in the music industry for 10 years. Obviously, it's about 14 years now since the first album, right? So it's like, there's a lot of things that happen from like that point A to point B in like these careers that can like make you fall out of love, that same love that you had when you put out that first body of work to like now, right? And obviously you're in a great place now. Like obviously you talked about experimentation on this album. Like I said, we'll get into it, but what has been like your main source of like your ability to like keep that love, or what have been like the little things that you may do on a day-to-day basis to make you still feel that love? Because honestly, you know, and I know you probably been through it too with the business side, it kind of twists everything, right? So like how do you keep that love going?
That's why I said 2012, because everything after that and in between was like, oh, you need this thing to do, you need this validation, you should check this off your list, does this make me good, not good? Like you go through all of these thoughts and you're trying to figure out how to place yourself in it. And then I did Please Don't Cry, and I unplugged from all of that, right? And I think though the things that have kept me grounded even on those challenging, frustrating days was, one, you know, before I put out any project, Ninth and Young Guru told me, I need you to define your why right now. Like, what is your why? Why are you doing this? What is your line where you have to say, I can't sell myself, my soul, my artistry, my authenticity for anything when you pass this line, like, you know. So I defined that early, and I've always moved from that. Even when it got frustrating, you know, I always knew where to go back to. The people around me, they always poured into me, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you need people to like redirect your view, you know what I'm saying? Like you may put the blinders down, now you're looking to your left and right, you need some hands to keep you forward. You know, a lot of sitting in silence, and then you got to hear what's inside. Turn the volume down on all the noise, things like that. Like, and even just going back during the pandemic, I would drive to New York like 6 or 7 times that year, by myself. I'd go there, stay a couple days, and drive back. It was an easy drive because nobody was on the road. But I would just listen to like, Lauren's Unplugged, or just album Nas, Illmatic, Reasonable Doubt, and memories are attached to those, and you find yourself like your most pure, innocent self before all of it. So you remember like the feeling that it was and that you're chasing, so it's those things. Right.
What you mentioned, like when you're talking to like Guru and Ninth, like to define the why, what is like that definition like for you? Like what is that like?
Inspiration. Okay. And it's not always gonna come with like a RIA certification or Billboard top 10. It's like you put out music and you meet people, you read comments, you tour, you get responses, interactions, and people have stories connected to your music. You saved my marriage. You helped me understand my black girlfriend better with your album Eve. Little 5-year-old girls in Africa, I want to be like you when I grow up. And you understand the responsibility of what you do, right? And even the business, it ain't about the most talented person, or, purposeful music and message music is always not what's harmonized with everything else. So you have to trust that, like, I want to be, that artist for people that need that. You know what I'm saying? What would I need in this time for myself? Right. What feels good to me? Like, what story do I want to tell that I feel like people need to hear that, and just operate from that place, because there's somebody out there that needs to hear it, no matter if it gets you the greatest album of the year award or not. Like you have to be solid in operating from your purposeful place and be on assignment. Like that's my thing. Like, I gotta stay on assignment.
Stay on assignment.
Stay on assignment, absolutely, and that's to be a truth teller. However that comes, every album is a snapshot of my life, what I'm observing, what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, and that's my truth. That's how I tell truth. What are you feeling right now? What you feeling about what you seeing? What's happening with Nolan Wells right now? How you gonna document that? Like, what are we all feeling in this time? The joy, the challenges, all of it. So, and some years might be all fun, then that's what we're gonna create. But that's what I do. Like, what's my truth in this moment?
That's real. I love that, because it's so funny. Like, it's funny how like I'll do interviews, and like my last interview will connect to my current interview, and it's because like as you're speaking about that, I'm thinking about, I interviewed Maya the Don, who's from New York.
I love her,
and she's so incredible. Her new album is amazing, and like her new album, kind of like what you were saying about being true to self. Her new album, like when she was here, like a week ago, she was like explaining how her new album was like her returning true to self. And a big part of that was that she felt like when she blew up off the record she had, she felt like, you get big in the industry and you start listening to everybody around you. You need this hit record, you need that, whatever. You start kind of like modeling yourself after maybe other female rappers in the game, and trying to be too much like, oh, I need to be like the girl who's hot right now, instead of just being Maya or being rap. And she had talked to me about that same type of thing of like finding herself and like feeling like, oh, like now the music that she's making is like kind of like the most true to self music, because she found like, what'd she say? She said she's like, yeah, my audience probably isn't in the club shaking ass. They're probably on their way to work. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody told me that real early. They like, it's 7 whole days in a week. We are not in the club 7 days,
Facts.
24 hours a day. Like, it's a lot going on outside of Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, into the Sunday morning, whatever day. Like, it's so much life happening, and people need a soundtrack to all of it. Not only the party scene, but I had a fight with my wife or my boyfriend, or I don't know, like I'm depressed, or this is a happy day, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, whatever I'm celebrating today, or I just look good, I want to dance in the mirror, like whatever it is, I want to talk to God today. You need soundtracks to everything.
Yeah, like you don't want to like you know, people got their rainy day. Everybody got their rainy day playlist. Everybody got their Sunday morning playlist. Exactly. You know, like I think like the way that kind of, especially like hip hop now runs, like everybody's always like, oh, you got to get like a club record. But then it's like, okay, well, what do you? Well, like I really be asking myself sometimes. I'm like, well, what do people listen to? Like who are just like straight hip hop fans or R&B fans? Like, what do you guys listen to like when you're not in the club? Like, what is like? Because I know you're not listening to like, it could obviously the different frequencies, right? Yep. You could enjoy, you know, your Sexy Red in the club, but you could also enjoy like your Rhapsody at home or whatever you're doing where they're listening to your music. But like I want to know what people's frequencies are, because like, you know, you only kind of see one side of people at the club. You feel me?
Exactly. You know, and I feel like people walk with this mask on, like everything is great all the time.
Facts.
I'm up, it's lit all the time. I wake up, eat a banana, it's lit. That banana is lit as fuck. It's just like, come on. Like even the argument, like whether it's J. Cole or me, they be like, yo, that's boring. Bitch, you ain't supposed to play it in the club. I didn't make that for the club. What the fuck is you talking about? You know, like, you know, like it's just for different energies and emotions, and like you could be studying, like you could be self-reflecting, you could be rapping in the mirror, whatever, you know, like, but there's something for everything.
Right. You know? That kind of brings me to like, because we didn't get to do an interview when like Please Don't Cry came out and you came and you performed here, but I know like this album's like very like, that album was very deeply personal to you as like a self-reflection tool, because of like, you know, I had read what like No ID had said to you, like about like, I think it was like like everybody knows you can rap, but not everybody knows like enough about you, right? Which that kind of leans into even us, that conversation of like the club and at home, because like I feel like the music you create is so personal to a lot of people, and that like people really invest themselves in your music because of like who you are, you know what I'm saying, and the context of like what you're creating and the music, you know, like you were talking about like all these like people listen to certain songs to heal, or they listen to certain songs if they're arguing with somebody, and vice versa. When you were creating like Please Don't Cry, and as that was kind of like a self-reflective project that kind of made people more aware of who you were, what was like the process going into that one too?
Ooh, that was challenging. It took a while to get through it. You know, you really have to be brave. You have to allow yourself to burn. You have to audit yourself and look at yourself in the mirror, right? And have some grace with yourself, you know, like I don't have to be perfect, you know. I bleed, I cry, I laugh, I joke, I get frustrated, annoyed, just like everybody else, right? And I also had to like take myself out of it and be human and be like, you know, when I'm listening to music, what are they talking about? And it'd be real life stuff, right? And that's the stuff I relate to most. So it's like, why can't I give of myself in the same way, you know? And a lot of surrendering, you know, and affirming yourself and learning how to love yourself and unplugging from all the illusions of what, you know, a perfect person looks like. It doesn't exist, you know. We all are hiding some things, dealing with some things until we set ourselves free and, you know, just allow ourselves to be. So it was going through that process and what it looks like. And it can be scary in the beginning when you're not used to being naked for people, you know, like it was very new for me, especially like how I grew up, you know. I didn't feel like I ever had a space to really not be perfect or not be a good girl, rather, you know what I'm saying? It was always fear of not only disappointing the people that love me, but now that I got this mic and responsibility, and like you want to be looked at in a certain way, and it's like I don't want to disappoint y'all either, that I'm just human. But no, that's like what you need to do. And the more I started doing these records, and you know, first you play them for your best friend and people that you trust, and then you play them for, you know, more friends, and then you start playing them for other people, and you realize like, oh, everybody going through the same thing, you know, like whether it's the song about a married man, or, you know, my aunt that has dementia. I've had so many people come up to me and they'll be like, yo, I went through that too. Or my mother has dementia, or, you know, so you realize that's what it's about, having a connection with people. And it just makes it easier to just be. And two, because you don't care anymore what other people think. I feel good about myself.
You felt like after that album, like you didn't care anymore about what people thought.
No.
But before that, you felt like you cared?
And to a degree, absolutely, because I was chasing things that it wasn't real. You know, we use it as markers, but it's not real. A lot of this is fabricated. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So once I learned that, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not doing that.
What do you feel like you were chasing? Like, was it like a feeling, validation? Okay.
In a way, you know, like it didn't have impact if it didn't reach this marker. You know, you ain't got no plaques. You never won a Grammy at the time. You never won any award. You never performed on any award show. Like, you've never been on a cover of a magazine. Like, all these things that I didn't have. You know what I'm saying? But none of it matters because I have the people. At the end of the day, that's all I ever wanted. That was my marker. Now, somebody else may want those things. And if you want those things, there's nothing wrong with wanting those things. But they were never why I got into music.
Yeah.
I wanted people to feel about my music how I felt when I heard The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, when I heard The Score, when I heard Illmatic, when I heard Reasonable Doubt. Like, I wanted to give that feel. I wanted to see people riding around their car listening to my records.
Well, a lot of those things came full circle this year, but we'll talk to that. We'll talk about that later. Still,
so it was that, man. You got to pull the veil off so you can see, or you got to pull the curtain back and really see the wizard behind it. It's just another mortal man at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was. Do you feel like that's what when you were even promoting that project and like the kind of like looking in the mirror you mentioned me before was also like a very big part of that project too.
Yeah.
Is that what you felt like when you like looking in that mirror when you were creating this? You're like, oh, like all these things about me, seeking the validation, the X, Y, and Z. Like,
I had to look in my mirror and talk to myself. Well, why aren't you enough for you? Like, where did that come from? I had to do a lot of work, intentional work, in all areas: spiritual work, mental work, physical work, changing my diet. Like, I needed all of it to have a better alignment with God and to hear myself and see myself in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And be okay with you just living life and figuring it out, and everybody has their process and everybody has their timing, and this is yours. But at the end of the day, you still got to do the work to find your way back to you. Like, outside of everything, politics, family, religion, school, friends that shapes you and gives you that. You got to drop all of that. I tell people you got to get naked. You got to get completely naked with yourself. It's a visual, but you got to get completely. You got all on these clothes and everybody else dressing you. You look in the mirror and you're like, this ain't me. So you got to take all that shit off and get completely naked. And go in your own closet and put your own clothes on and then step out. This is who I am. And I like me and I'm fly. And I feel good.
I like that. Was therapy like a part of that whole process too? Because you're talking about all this work you're doing. Was it more so like just work you're doing inward, like shadow work, or was it kind of like you were actually like going to therapy and like figuring all this out at the same time too?
Yeah, it was definitely shadow work, ego death. It wasn't therapy in the sense of like I had a professional therapist, which I still plan to do. It's taking me I found somebody I like, but it does take time. It's taking me a while to find my person, right?
Yeah.
But I still did a form of therapy on my own. Like I was working on a film with Sanaya Lathan during this time in like 2021. It was the one time I stopped working on the album for like 3 or 4 months to go work on this film, and she was doing her own healing work. But she gave me this course, and it had like maybe 12 courses, but one of them was called Unblocked Child. Yeah. And I remember it was a big turning point, or it turned the lights on. Like it took you through this guided meditation, and it was like you flying through the clouds, whoop, 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 and you landing, and you're your youngest self that you could remember. And I think the guided meditation, it was something to the effect of, it was to the effect of what's something at your youngest age that you can remember where you learned love or self-love or what that was. And for me it was like maybe like 5, 6, 7, doing nice things for people and oh, you're so sweet, you know, you're so loving, you're so kind, I just love you. And it's just like, oh, okay, like the more I give of myself to others, that's how I receive love, you know. So you put yourself on the back burner for your whole life, you know what I'm saying? And that's its own thing. That now that piles on other things, you know. So it was stuff like that I had to do. To me, that's its own form of therapy. It's just not with a professional. So
but the album itself did feel like a therapy session a little
that
bit. You
too.
know what I'm saying? Obviously, because like the way that you structured it, the interludes with Mr. Shot, of course, like like it felt that it was definitely given that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I let people in. You know, I let them see what was happening in here, what I was feeling in here. You know what I'm saying? How that affected everything outside of me. You know, and how to get through that. Allow yourself to burn. And then you come back to Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a journey. Then you get back in your bag. Like, that was the walk.
Right. I feel you. Like, 'cause I feel like even like what you had mentioned about like realigning with like the things that you do and how you eat and all that. I feel like that's what I kind of been on lately.
Yeah,
just
I see
like,
you.
Yeah,
I peeped it.
You know what I'm saying? Just trying to like be. Well, I turned 30 next week, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like
birthday.
Thank you. But I feel like I'm getting to that point where it's like I've also been like realigning who I am too in that sense. So that's why like even when getting ready for this interview and kind of revisiting the album, I related to like a lot of the things that you were talking about, because a lot of it is like, you know, and I was talking about this with like one of my mentors earlier. It's like yeah, once you turn 30, like you work your 20s up to get to somewhere, and like then you're 30 and you're like, oh, I'm here now. So now I gotta like figure it out and also like realign if I feel like I need to realign, and also sometimes find out why you fell in love with this to begin with in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like it's just kind of like I'm not exactly sure what the word I'm looking for is. Like just finding yourself again.
That's it.
You know,
we all are on a journey of returning to self.
Right.
And our most purest, untouched self.
Right.
You know?
And you feel like you've returned to that purest, untouched self.
Hell yeah.
I mean, look at how we're sitting. This is definitely. I haven't taken my shoes off.
I got a hole in my sock.
You got a hole. Why would you point it out? Nobody's gonna say nothing.
Because I see it. But it's okay to have a hole in your sock.
It is okay to have a hole in your sock.
Exactly.
I thought Sam was looking at you funny.
I'm looking at them.
Oh, you looking at that? But when you came last time, you had the mask too, right?
Yeah,
what was?
Yeah.
I always wanted to ask, 'cause I didn't get to ask you that day, but what was the whole concept with the mask being a part of like a lot of the performances you were doing for the album?
The mask, album cover with the veil.
Yep.
It was a part of you that you do mask, that you do hide from the world, that you know you don't show you're not vulnerable, you're not comfortable allowing people to see, you know, how human you are, that you feel,
right?
Because you got to be strong, you got to be tough, you know, you got to be, you know, I can't be shaken, I can't let you see me slipping, whatever that looks like, you know. So that was like, you know, stylistic wise, my storytelling, you know. Like, I got this mask on and I'm ready to take it off type thing, you know. So I can see the world better and the world can really see me.
Right.
You know?
And I feel like as we're going into, obviously, this new album, you know what I'm saying, God Got an Afro and Go Hoops. Like, the story of, and I'm going to let, obviously, of course, let you tell it, but, like, the story of, like, how you kind of came up with this whole project is, like, extremely interesting. Obviously, it feels like obviously an expansion of what you've done before, but also like you said, like this is like the most creative freedom that you felt like you've had for a while. And you mentioned it all really started from a trip you took to Africa. So where does where is like the bare bones, like the beginning of where this whole new journey for Rapsody like began?
I would say like towards the end of 2024 on through all of last year. I put out Please Don't Cry. I did a 21-day cleanse. That was a whole nother level of alignment.
Cleanse of what?
Things I was eating. Like, it's like a flush of all your organs. You know what I'm saying? But within that, like, no sex. Not that I was having any anyway. No alcohol. Not that I really drink. No smoking. Like, you know, and I was in the studio with Amanda Rifer, and she was telling me about this cleanse, and she was like, yo, you feel a state of euphoria, and I want to know what that feel like. So I did the cleanse, and I understood it. You know, it was the most mental clarity I ever had. Like, spiritually, I could just feel things differently. You know, it was it just felt good. So that was just a deeper connection. I was intentional with my days, you know, waking up 5-6 o'clock, meditating, reading. Then I would go work out, and then I would start my day. It was like clockwork every day. Then I'm traveling to new areas, Brazil for the first time. Then we go to Europe, and you know, then we do American tour. So like, this is a new, freer, more evolved, fearless, self-loving person, and I'm traveling the world. I'm talking to people, and I'm having all these experiences, and I'm putting everything I worked into practice. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just becoming more strong in that way. And you get to understand your journey, you know, why you went through everything, what was the purpose, like what you learned from it, how you're applying it now. And that's where the freedom and the peace comes from. You know, things that used to irritate you more, they don't bother you no more. Like you people's energies or whatever, that you don't have to carry them. I could just observe without judgment, you know, that you just on a different part of your journey. Because again, everybody got their own time, and so you just look at everything differently, you know. And things you used to value, you don't value them anymore. You know, you put more currency in other things that necessarily can't touch or feel, you know what I'm saying, in that way. Like relationships with family, you know, all of those things. So that was it. And then after the tour, I think January, I got in the studio with Madlib. Not with Madlib, but he sent me beats. So we working on the project, the album that we're doing. And that was the beginning. Like, I just went in, and it was like, I just want something that feels good, you know. Soul, boom, bap. What does that bring out of me? Like, and I just went from there. Like, I didn't think about, you know, what people may want to hear. Like, these are the stories that I'm telling based on where I've been, you know, what's on my mind, how I'm feeling. And I reread my favorite book, No Disrespect, by Sister Soldier. Like, I was doing things like that. Everything that I was liking style-wise on Instagram was Africa. Like, I was just being drawn to Africa and Pan-Africanism so much, because I think that was a big part of how I saw myself, you know, and the artists that I listened to growing up, and the books that I read, like movies that I like, you know. And I'm experiencing this world under this administration and everything that's going on. Like, it's so, like, I'm happy and joyful, and the world is all gone to shit, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And then I'm looking at the attack on black people. It's like all of these things. So all that is affecting me. But I'm just being called to go home to Africa. That's all I know. So I called my team, and I was like, I got to go to Africa. So I went, you know.
Where'd you go specifically?
I went to Accra, Ghana for 6 days. And then we went to Johannesburg, South Africa for 12 days to record the album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so the whole album was recorded in 12 days?
No.
Okay. But that's where it started. But that's where it started at.
Yeah, outside of like the Madlib tracks, which I didn't. They were from him, but I didn't. I ended up putting them on the album, but it really started in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
But before then, there was also like I had read that you had went to the Smithsonian Museum.
Yeah. Just the seeds being planted. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my good friends is the curator there, Timothy Ann Burnside. She's amazing. To anybody who's had the opportunity to meet her, she hit me. She was like, "Yo, we have a new exhibit. It's on Afrofuturism.
Amazing.
Black people in space. I want you to come see it. You want to come see it?" Everything that she had, always, if I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. So I'm getting introduced to like Sun Ra, who I hadn't, you know, I didn't know about before that necessarily. And I'm just learning about the doggone. Now I'm curious, like my curiosity is spiked, because this is all kind of new to me. And it makes me want to go listen to Sun Ra. And then I'm researching doggone people and the Dogon people, and, you know, I'm just diving into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to like a lot of D'Angelo and Voodoo. I'm going back to Michael Jackson. I'm listening to a lot of Grace Jones now. You know, it's things like that. Again, I'm reading No Disrespect by Sister Soldier, and that's a book about the relationships of Black and African men and women. You know, she goes through her life from her childhood, like early childhood with her father, and then her mother moving to the projects and being on welfare, and her relationships between her mom and her boyfriends, and then, you know, looking at our people in the community, you know, what the hustlers on the street trying to survive, welfare, systematic racism, the difference in the schoolings, like school to prison pipeline. It's all these things she's going through. She goes to college now. Her first romantic relationships, her friends' romantic relationships, and it all boils down to like everything we as people have gone through from slavery to the present day, and how that has affected us not only as individuals but the relationships we have in our families and with men and women, right? So the same way, like, I'm listening to Lauryn Hill's Unplugged, and I hear it differently at this stage in my life because I've experienced so much. I'm going back and reading this book that I haven't read since my sophomore year of college, and I'm reading it differently, that with the Afrofuturism, so it's just like all of these things are shaping me.
So then you, like, all these things are shaping you, right? Like, This Is a Soldier book, the Afrofuturism, the exhibit at the Smithsonian. When you take that first trip to Ghana, what were like some of the things that stood out to you? First of all, was that like your first ever trip to like Ghana and South Africa?
It's my first trip to Ghana. It was my third trip to South Africa.
Okay.
The first time I went to South Africa was 2012 and 2013.
Okay. But what were like, because obviously Ghana being kind of like the most newest experience for you, and like the first experience for you in Ghana, what was like so important about that trip that influenced like a lot of the project that we're getting like this month?
Some layers. Like, we were there 6 days, and I had plans of like, I'm gonna be in the nightlife. I'm gonna go out because I don't go out that much.
Oh, you was gonna get you outside?
I was gonna be outside in
Ghana. But did you go outside?
I had plans. I was gonna go to like the Volta region because I had a friend that was from there. She was like, go to my hometown in Volta. I was gonna spend a couple days there. Like, that was on my mind. But I got to the hotel, and my homie, my brother Gretzky, he was supposed to come with me. He missed his flight, so I was there by myself most of the first day. And I met this tour guide in the hotel. He called himself the mayor, Hector the mayor. And he pulls out his phone, and he was like, he's asking questions, but how long you here? He's like, I could take you here, and he's showing me all the tours he's gone. My interest is peaked, and I'm like, okay. So he creates this whole itinerary for me. Gretzky lands at night, and I'm like, we leave in the morning at 5 a.m. We going on a trip, and we don't come back to the hotel for 5 days until the night before we leave to go to Joburg. So we go to the Ashanti region. We get up 5:30. It's a 5-hour drive. Me and Gretzky are both in the back, quiet. We just settling in. Like, it's a beautiful sunrise. We're in the continent, so I'm just allowing myself to be where I'm at.
Yeah.
And on the radio, it's this westernized white gospel music playing, and I'm like, I am in Accra, Ghana. Why am I listening to this? Like, it just takes me out of everything. This is not what I want to hear. This is not what I heard when I went to South Africa 10, 12, 13 years ago. What is this? So I asked the driver, I said, can you change the station, please? He changed it. It was the same thing. Changed it again. It was the same thing. I said, why is this what's playing on the radio? Like, where's y'all's music? He's like, this is what everybody listens to. And Gretzky on his flight there, he's like, my whole plane was white people, and they're coming to create churches. And it made me think like that.
Create churches?
Yeah, it's a thing. They're building churches everywhere. And I'm like, even in the continent, I can't escape, the spirituality, religious practice even being co-opted, whitewashed in a sense. So that sat with me, and I connected it with, America and the idea of, Jesus is blue eyes and, got this straight hair.
You mean blowout Jesus?
Yeah, blowout Jesus.
What? I ain't gonna lie. I want to let you continue in 2 seconds.
No, go ahead.
I started texting people, and they'd be, I forgot who I was texting. It was like, might have been around like the holiday season.
Yeah.
And we was in church, and somebody sent me a picture of them in church, and I said, oh, you praising blowout Jesus today? And then I don't know, I took this to this whole thing in the group chats, and I'm like, y'all really think Jesus had a blowout?
And a few highlights.
And a few highlights?
You know what I'm saying?
And then I started arguing with my parents. And then, like, every family got like that one family member that's just a little bit more conservative than the rest. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm the shit starter in my family, so I'll be the one that'll start arguing with all the you know the other side of the family. Right. You know what I'm saying? The ones that aren't as you know whatever. And I would just be like, yo, I'll be like, so all the pictures of Jesus in your crib, they all got blowouts.
That's what y'all think.
Yeah. But anyway, please continue your thought. I'm sorry. Oh, no. I'm sorry.
I like that you insert. That's what it'd be. Exactly that.
Yeah.
But it, you know, it's that. Like I thought about that. Then I thought about like all the books are being banned. DEI is gone. They're rewriting history and the slave trade and what that was. And they wanted to come over here. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, if my album was a book, it'd be banned. Every one of them. You know? So, you know, that's sitting with me. We go into the Ashanti region and I'm learning about how important women were. You know, it wasn't man woman, it was woman man. You know, like she's the king of the region. You know, they look up to the woman because she brings life. You know, what she says goes. Their last name is from the maternal side.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
And what region is this?
Ashanti.
Okay.
You know, then I go and I have the first bath of return. So you go to the river where slaves had their last bath of return before they went to the slave castles. So the descendants come and they have their first bath of return, you know, the welcome back. And they're telling us like the history and the walk that they took from the top of the village down to the mountain and how many people died and, you know, from sickness, old age, from heat, from there's some lions out here. The weak ones, we're going to tie them to a tree and offer them to the lions so they don't come get everybody else. You know, all the people that died during that. And you get to the last bath of return and people die whether they're trying to escape or whatever. And then you get to the slave castle. And we did the slave castle tour. And how many people died, whether they were given birth from being raped, whether they tried to rebel and they were put in prison, whether they were sick. Like, it's so much death. And then you get on the slave ship and some jump off and some die of sickness and then you get to America and more die. And it's just like, I stopped and I was like, all of this death, like all that we've been through. And our first slave castle, it wasn't as heavy. It was heavy, but we got to be brought out of it because right outside they were having a carnival.
So outside the castle?
Yeah. Okay. It was a carnival. Like, it was lit. I walked through it, and that's how I knew, like, nah, like, we come from Afro, because it looked like New Orleans second line. Like, the drumming, like, the dressings, the footwork of the dancers. I was like, this is second line. Nobody can't tell me that we are not from here. Like, it's too crazy. You know, so it made me think, like, yo, we've been through all of this. All of the death, all of you know, you get to the slave castle, you can't speak your language, you can't pray how you pray, you can't be with your loved ones. Like, all of this is taken away, and we still survived and thrived. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's on my mind. Like, I'm taking all of this to Joburg to record an album, and Denon gets there and he playing around with some drum joints, and I'm just in the space. Before I even got there, I went to see Terrence Martin, and he's always told me, like, yo, I just want to do a jam session with you. Like, just get with some musicians, and we just going to do whatever, and, like, just come up with songs on the fly. I've never done that. So I took that with me, too. So while Denon playing around trying to find, like, the drum loop he want, like, I'm just freestyling. God got a Afro, because to me, it's like they don't want us to remember our own spiritual practice, you know, our own religion, or you know, whether it's Yoruba or whatever. They don't want us to see God in ourselves. So it's like, God got an Afro and gold hoops. You know what I'm saying? God is not a man, woman, child. Is not a certain color. Like, God is in all things. So you got to see God in yourself. Whether you got a cornrow phase, you got a bust down, whatever it is, like, see God in yourself. So that was why I named the album that, because, you know, I wrote it like, again, if my album was a book, it would be banned. So if somebody found it when they weren't supposed to find it 100 years, what am I telling them? What codes am I leaving them? What truth am I telling them, so they know whatever they telling you ain't it, you know? And the first thing was like, don't forget to see God in yourself.
Because I was going to be one of my next questions, like, what conversations were you trying to start with the album title as like a whole, outside of just like the surface value of, like, you know, what you're presenting, like, at face value? Like, what are you trying to, what do you want it to mean beyond that too? And then that's,
I mean, that is such a title to me that like makes you stop. Like, God got an afro. Ain't nobody ever said it like that, because they painted God as this, or if you know the truth, you never given God a real face. So it's like God got an afro and gold hoops, because we like to say he, she, whatever. God is I, as my homie Andre Mego says. God is I am.
Right.
So it was that I wanted people to stop and just think, and it's really just to start conversation, because Sister Soldier was one of the big influences. I looked for her, and I looked for her number to reach out, because I wanted her to do the interludes to it. I felt like we needed to hear from her, if she wanted to be heard from. And, she and I connected. She didn't necessarily know a lot about me, but, we got to chat. And I told her about the album and, what I wanted her to do. And she so gracefully and respectfully declined, because of where she is in life right now. Like, she's Muslim, she has a family, children, all the things. But the most important thing, she was like, I don't play with God like that, because of her faith. Okay. And she was like, Rapsody, I challenge you, because I think she would have did it if I changed the album title, maybe. But she was like, I challenge you to not mix the truth with a lie. And I was like, damn, that's powerful. Like, that's why I love her, because she challenges me. But I had to sit with it. And
because I was gonna say, like, what is, like, how are you mixing a truth with a lie?
Because everybody believes what they believe about God. I'm not Muslim. I don't necessarily practice Islam. I would like to learn it. But I think the lie is that God doesn't have an afro and gold hoops. God doesn't necessarily look like anything. God is light. God is love. God is far beyond our comprehension of what it could be. Because even in her note, she was like, not even in satire, and that was the challenge, and I respected it. But I had to sit, like, again, like, for me, what I felt like my assignment was to just start the conversation. That's it. Like, you decide what's truth for you, know. But in doing so, you gotta have the conversation. So I knew my intention. Like, I definitely aligned with her sentiments, but I feel like there's so many ways to get there. To get people to even think about it or want to speak about it. I should have asked her just to ask, but I was like, I would have loved for her to just get on the album and say that. Like, that would have been cool. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but like you said, like, everybody has like their own interpretation of like of like God. I mean, like, to some people, it's Jesus with a blowout. You know what I'm saying? Sam, what? Right, man.
He got them cracking up right here.
To you, God has an afro and gold hoops. You feel me? To like other people, it's like no one can, like, I think that, like, I fully understand, and of course I respect her viewpoint, but like also, like, no one knows what God looks like, so you can't really you can't really claim one thing unless you've had that experience, which I don't think any of us have really had. We've all had our own individual experiences with whatever we feel like ourselves and connecting with God and so on and so forth. But like, you can't just, who's to say that me being like, oh, God is a Caribbean woman with gold hoops and mad tattoos. How's that? Like, everybody has their own interpretation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and God, like you said, God is a reflection of all of us, which is, I feel like, is also what you're conveying with the project too.
Yeah, I respect it. You know, and I don't think necessarily she was saying. I think that was more her point. Is like, we don't know. You know what I'm saying, and maybe God is faceless. So yeah, I respected her stance on it 100%.
But that interlude would have been crazy. That would have been so cool.
She's so brilliant, like so brilliant. But at the same time, she did so much and left us so much, with even the time that she was super vocal in the books that she's written. So, it's just like, okay, somebody else got to pick up the mic, Right. Somebody else got to go in the streets and talk and fight. That's all. She gave us the tools, the energy. And I know in talking to her, even like she's evolved in some things in her thinking. So, when she feels the need or the want to even share that, and I'm sure she will. She's always moved like that. But it's just like, at least I got to tell her how important she is to me. Right. And I'm sure a lot of people So
I feel like, a lot of people, the conversation is always like, don't meet your idols.
Yeah.
What do you feel like meeting your idol in this case? Like, because it feels like for me, it was obviously it was a positive experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course you wish you could have got it on the
Absolutely.
project, but like, I feel like, a lot of people meet their idols and they're like disappointed by the people that they've been idolizing. Right.
Yeah.
But in this case, it felt like, you said you've had some people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Got some people I love beyond. I've been disappointed in, and some people say that they say, never meet your heroes. And, I'm
never
like,
meet your heroes, yep.
I'm still happy I met my hero. You know what I'm saying? Because I've learned to have grace with people. They are still human. We all have things that we're working through that we're being challenged on. And if they have a human experience, and they have a human experience, but I have grace because I see you. It's not about me. At the end of the day, it's about you. You may project it on me, but it's not about me. So I got grace. I got grace for it. And I'm grateful for the times that were really cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I may have been disappointed, at a point in time, but I still can't say like, a lot of that was cool, and I'm glad I got to experience and see that part of you too, So even in this case, like, it was very cool and fruitful. I wish to God I had got her, man. But I'm grateful, like, at least I have a line to her, and I love that I know, like, she's still challenging me, us, all of us. Like, I love her mind. I love that she always gonna speak her truth, and what she says, like, that teaches me. You know what I'm saying? That inspires me. So it was still a cool exchange and experience, and I was happy that I did get to connect with her.
With when you were creating the project in like South Africa too, what were like? Because I feel like I had also seen you do some stuff with like a young gospel choir as well, and I know for you, like when you were traveling around Ghana, like you had mentioned, you were taken aback by the more westernized gospel music they were playing on the radio. How did you kind of like take that experience and then use that to create like this more, I guess you would say, a traditional sense of gospel music that I'm sure you're putting through on this album? How did you kind of take that and then kind of flip it to kind of be like what you actually, I'm assuming what you would also want to hear on the radio as you were traveling through Ghana too?
Form of it for sure. I tell people, like, this era felt like really divine. Like, it felt like I was being led and things were being aligned for me, for whatever reason, for whatever I was supposed to do with my assignment. Before we went to Africa, I went to Detroit, and me and Denon worked for like a day before we went to Africa. And we did like 2 or 3 joints, or we did some ideas. But one record, he was like, I want to get like a choir on this, like some kids. So I told you I had been to South Africa before. There's an artist, my friend, amazing artist, Nomza Mazwai, who's on my first album, I Did Beautiful. So I hit her and I let her know I was coming because we hadn't seen each other in over 10 years. And I asked her, I said, can you connect me with some kid choir, like a choir, some kids singing? And she's the one that connected me. So we already had the mind frame that we were going to do that for this whole other record outside of God Got an Afro. So it was, serendipitous, is that the word? That,
I think serendipitous might be the word,
I go on this journey and I experience that, which just doubles down on what we do when we get to Joburg. So
that's fire.
Yeah,
I really love the whole like idea behind it, and like something that you had also like really spoke about was like in the Rolling Stone article, to be specific, you spoke about how like joy is like is resistance, right?
Yep.
Expand on that for me. Like why do you feel like joy is resistance, and how do you feel like joy plays into like a central theme of like this project too?
Man, when you think about like media today ain't like the media of the old.
Right.
It's all owned by one parent company. So, it could be really shaped in the stories they tell you, the energy they put out, what's being fed to you, how they want you to feel is kind of like being puppeted. Everything that's going around in the world with ICE, again, like black people always constantly seeing black death, and you wake up with such angst and such emotion, and some people are fearful, and people hate you, dog. Like, all that comes from like insecurity and just hate. And sometimes the best thing you could do is still be joyful, because once they take your joy, oh man.
Yeah.
But they trying so hard. They've tried so hard since forever to steal our joy, and we still are joyful. You know, we still are dancing in the streets outside of a slave castle. You know, we still were in the fields, but we still sing our Negro spirituals. You know, we still found a way to worship on Sunday in our way, even though we had to code it some. There was always a way where we found a way to maintain our joy.
Right.
That is resistance, because that's the one thing they know if they could take from you, they broken you to the bone. You know, so be joyful. You know, shout out to my homeboy Anthony Gretzky Wolf, who's an abolitionist and really involved in the streets, and he'll tell me like, yo, like we go fight in the streets, we get in the face, and we use our bodies to get between ice. We fight for homeless people, we fight for black and brown people, but at the end of every day we put on some music and we dance home. We end our day with joy, so we can be full enough to go and fight the next day. So that's what I mean when joy is resistance. It's needed.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So who else is on the album? Because right now I don't have the track list isn't fully out yet when we're recording this. So who else is on the project with you?
It's not a lot of features. Mr. Porter is a big feature. He's on like a third of the hooks. Malice from the Clips is on it.
Fire.
George Clinton is on it. Nomza Mazwai from South Africa is on it. My good friend Jojo Abbott from the Volta region of Ghana is on it. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. Oh, Amanda Reifer is on it.
Nice.
I think that's everybody.
How did you mentioned at the beginning of this interview, and obviously just now, that Mr. Porter's on a third of the project, right?
Vocally, and he produced 11 out of 16 tracks, and he EP'd it with me.
He did EP it. So how did Mr. Porter get this entrenched in this body of work with you?
I've known Mr. Porter, Denon Porter of D12, shout out to Detroit.
Shout out to Detroit.
Since like 2012. He's always been a supporter of me, a fan of me. You know, I've done verses for him, but he's always like, I remember he came to Raleigh to the studio one time, and like he was like, yo, I need to get in with you. Like, I see it. I got a vision. Woo, woo, woo. Timing is everything, you know.
Sure.
Like, I probably even wasn't ready for what he saw as an artist. But every project I did, I would always call him. I would always hit him for beats. And for whatever reason, it just timing. It just we never did anything that made it out into the world. I got things in the vault, but never made it to the world. But this project in particular, I had planned to like have Mad Lib. I was gonna go back and see S1. Like, you know, I made my list. I sent my list to the Rock Nation ER. Like, these are people I want to work with, right? So I was preparing. But I called him and I said, you know, I'm gonna get on a plane. I'm gonna come to Detroit. And when I walked in the house, he was like, I'm so happy you here. Like, I want to help so much with this project. It is my duty, and what I have to do is I want people to see you how I see you. I see all your superpowers. I see superpowers that you don't even see in yourself. And I want to help people see you and know you like I do. And I was like, okay, you know, like, I think this time is the best time of any time. Like, there's nothing in our way. Like, I've learned so much. I've grown so much. I think we ready. We went down in his basement, and the first two joints we worked on was this joint called Free Your Mind, and a couple of other joints that didn't make the record. But he was like, yo, these first ones, like, you know, I only want to do maybe 3 or 4 on the album, but you know, I want
11.
Yeah, I want to give you some joints you could perform at a festival. Like, that's my contribution. I'm okay. Yeah. And so, like, I sent him a playlist of like songs of like the frequency, the word, area, colors I wanted to be in. Excuse me. And I sent him some pictures and photos from Pinterest, like, just to show him where I was, like, inspiration wise, musically. And boy, he knocked it out the park. Like, he really set the tone. You know, so then I was like, can you come with me to South Africa? And he came to South Africa, and I recorded like 3-4 songs. No, I did like 5 songs, but 3 of them made the album. They were the heart of the album. And I think just that experience, like, he meant what he said. Like, he don't get on if Eminem ain't going, he don't be going nowhere. You know, he got on a plane and went to that's a 16-hour flight. He went to South Africa with me. He met me there. You know, he created beats with me. Like, he saw my vision. He would give me like ideas of his own that complemented my vision. I'm working on a Madlib song. Like, he's producing my voice. Like, you'll play with your voice here. You know what I'm saying? He's giving me talks of life. He's putting his hands on my shoulders. Like, yo, like, I need you to know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to be in here doing 300 songs. Shooting in the gym, that's over for you. Now you need to go. It's game time. Just pick your spots on the floor. You know, I'm about to shimmy, whoop, whoop. I'm going to pull back and give you a bank. Oh, I'm going to give you 3 right here. Like, just pick your spots on the floor. Like, what record do you want to make? Okay, let's make that record. There's no need of doing a whole lot of, like, chasing and search. Like, you know what you want to do. Like, those are the talks he's having with me. Like, and he's so invested. And at the time, you know, he's healing from his brother dying. You know, like, his team is like, you couldn't have come at a better time. Like, he needs something and somebody to pull him out of this. So we needed each other in different ways. And we came back and we were on such a high of what we created and just how easy it was to create and how free we both felt. We just kept working, and he was like, yo, I just want to do the joint, you know. So I'm like, okay. So I only went to Detroit.
Wow.
I only went to Detroit after Africa, and we recorded the record. It was over a year, but we only were together to, like, re-record and work on it maybe 8 weeks out of the year. I only wrote when I was with him.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because, like, you're telling me this story about him, and it's like, it kind of like, I feel like the last 2 projects you've had, like, you know, the No ID story, like a lot of, like, they have similar, like, path lines of, like, how these projects have kind of, like, come about. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be Mr. Porter or No ID, like, they both kind of, like, brought you into, like, the next, like, they kind of made you realize something about yourself and brought you into, like, the next phase of, like, who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so important for artists to allow themselves to be produced. Producers still matter. Like,
absolutely,
they're very important, I think, to the album making process. Like, you know, it just makes for a great experience. You know, it's I play basketball. I know how to be coached.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have all the talent in the world, but you still need a great coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes a difference. And I think, you know, doing art in this manner, like, it's good to have a wingman, or, you know what I'm saying, like, co-captain, you know, to fly the plane, because, you know, that's just it. Like, I always want to have a producer on every project, like a main producer that walks with me. I
would say that's, like, the best way for artists to do is just, like, lock in with one person.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what makes, like, a lot of the best projects. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Every project I have has been that. Ninth for, you know, a bulk of the majority of my records. S1 on Please Don't Cry. A large part of it until his mom got sick, and then Black Odyssey was a big part of that.
Odyssey's incredible too.
Oh, man.
Yeah, love Odyssey.
Oh, I can't wait for the world to really understand how talented that man is, you know. And Mr. Porter for this one.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, also for you, like, community's, like, a big thing for you, and, like, you've always been, like, very vocal about, like, other artists that you are fans of. Obviously Nico is one of them, right? What is, like, also, like, especially now, because obviously you're further along in your career than when you first met Nico, and obviously now as you continue to build this community around you, even with the producers and whatnot, how are you, like, what is your kind of, like, approach to helping? Because I remember actually one of the last things you said to me before you left the last time you were at OTR is, like, you were like, thank you for opening the door to us.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, like, stuck with me. Because, like, obviously I'm, like, you know, I understand that OTR is, like, a gateway for a lot of different people and a lot of different artists of all shapes and sizes as, like, a doorway that wouldn't typically be open. So I always, like, that always really stuck with me. And I feel like you are also, like, a conduit just like that of, like, opening the door for people, like people like Nico. What is kind of, like, now, like, your process, or, like, what approach is the better word? What is your approach of, like, helping others through that door now? Mm-hmm. If there is an approach like that, because obviously this album's taking up a lot of time.
A lot. People hit me for different reasons about different things. I just always make sure like I have an open line, and I just tell them the truth, like however I can be of service. I can't do everything, but the things that I can do, I try my best, whether it's Nico Brim or whether it's Deontay Hitchcock or whether it's Ruben Vincent, whether it's Brittany Carter. Like, my line is always open, and I do that because I was them once, right? Mm-hmm. And I understood like how hard it was to get through a door, you know what I'm saying? And I always remember the people that did, show up for me when they didn't have to, you know what I'm saying? I'll never ever forget it. Big Daddy Kane, Estelle, Marsha Ambrosius, Rod Digger, even, Sam, Carly Hustle, like from whether you artist or, you anywhere in the world of what we do, like there's not a face or a name that, I don't remember what they did for me. And the ones, that may have made it hard, you know what I'm saying? Knife used to always tell me, like, some people, man, they ain't gonna do nothing for you till they feel like they can get something off of it. So you feel like they've reached a certain level where it's profitable in some type of way for them. But then there are these ones that, like, they just care and want to help. And for me, it was like, it was my duty to do the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what hip hop to me is all about. Like, I grew up in a small town, 1,600 people. Anything I don't know is community, and how communities show up for each other. And when I get a ticket and the state trooper like, you Roy Lee daughter, I'm like, yeah, and they look out for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom is one of 13 kids. My dad is one of 9. Like, I grew up in a big family. Yeah. My grandfather was like, family first. I don't care about family first, But I also heard stories of him like family first, but it was community for him too. Like sharecropper, 13 kids. You got your own farm, and there's a house down the street. There's no man in the house, but there's 2 women, and they got kids, and they come down and they get your food. And my aunt was like, I was a kid asking, why you giving our food away? They ain't been in the field helping us. But it was about making sure that your people were good, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what I come from. That's when I get in this industry. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what I want to give. You know what I'm saying? I told somebody, I said, I just realized, like, I was just always looking for family, things that reminded me of home and what I knew as love, and what I was taught, you know what I'm saying, to show up for your people. And so that's always what it been. Like, Nico asked for help, show up. Ruben needs help, I show up. Deontay, I just call him because, he put out Junkie in the Sun. Yep. 100,000 copies he wants to sell this year. Trying to sell 100,000 copies. He sold 1,000. I called him. I said, hey, I was thinking about your campaign, and I got an idea. You can use it if you want, but have you thought about doing this? He's like, I ain't thought about that. Like, I just want to see you win, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all a reflection of each other. I don't understand this thing of, like, I'm too big, you ain't on my, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even understand that. That don't even compute to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are all in this together. Yeah. Like, capitalism or whatever is at play is not going to take me off of that. Like, you're not about to get that from me. Like, there's so much power in community and unity. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is our culture. The people own the culture, and we've given it away in a way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, nah, we taking that shit back, and I'm gonna do my part to make sure. Right. And it can just be easy as just like looking out for somebody. Small. It don't take a lot, to give somebody advice, to make a call for somebody. Like, I know somebody. Let me see if I can help. Like, I said that mostly for Nico. You know what I'm saying? I know it wasn't easy for him to get a lot of things that me and Andre Mego, as we each other at the time, like, were able to help him do. The 2 tours I took him on, the tours I've taken Ruben on. I took Deontay Hitchcock on his first tour. Like, somebody took me on Mac Miller took me on my first tour. Like, it's passing it forward. It don't take a lot to inspire somebody or change their life in the smallest way. So that's what you're supposed to do, I believe. Right. Yeah. I love that. That's a great answer. That's a great answer. It's funny because I got like one of my employees. I'm gonna say this for the end of the interview, but he had a question about
the record you did with Absol and Max. So it's funny that you mentioned Mac. But we're gonna talk about that at the end. Yeah. I want to talk about like a full circle moment from this last year, and that was the Lauryn Hill tribute. And you were talking about how much you love Lauryn Hill, obviously, right? Yeah. And obviously BET Awards this year, got to be a part of the tribute. What was that experience like for you? Like, how did you get the call for it, and then how involved was, I guess, or maybe not involved, I don't know, how involved was Lauryn in like the whole scheme of things?
Lauryn ain't know nothing. I think if she knew anything, it was that Jill Scott wasn't gonna be able to be there to do this, and so she ended up performing. Yeah, I think that's as much as she knew, to my understanding. But when I saw that they were doing her tribute, I screenshot and I put it in the chat with my team. I was just like, I just put the look at eyes. That's all. I was like, damn, I hope we get this. Like, this would be a dream come true. But we just sat and we waited. And I was at the Blue Note. I think it was Estelle's show. Estelle was performing at the Blue Note in New York. And Adam Blackstone was there. That's my brother, like, legend. Oh, my God. So we hugging or whatever. And he leaned over. He was like, hey, the BET hit you? And I was like, nah, what they hit me about, right? He was like, I want you to be a part of the Lauryn Hill tribute. So I'm like, oh, boy, you got to be kidding me. So that's how I found out initially. Right. But I was like, it ain't real till it's really confirmed. And they hit up my PR team, Yvette, and Ed, and they confirmed it for us, which was amazing. So, that's how we became a part of it. Adam Blackstone and Jesse Collins, Ebony Nichols, I think. If I'm forgetting anybody, I'm sorry. Were a part of like the show, putting it together, and they did an amazing job.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was it. Like, yeah, I said I ain't saying nothing.
Did you get to talk to Lauryn after though?
I absolutely did.
Okay, what was that conversation?
It was brief at her after party. I went over, spoke, sent my love, and she was so happy with what everybody did and having her children a part of it. So, she thanked me. We had other conversation. I'm gonna just keep between us, but it was just love and appreciation, and she was so grateful, and it felt good to me. Like, that's the best BET award show that we've had in a long time. It just is what it is, and that's probably one of the best, if not the best, tribute shows that they've ever done. So just to be a part of that whole production, to be on stage rapping to your greatest inspiration, and to see them joyful, on their feet, happy, like their children are a part of it. I mean, it's the best thing I've ever done in my career.
I love that.
That's like, I've been blessed to do some things, a lot of great things, but that tops it.
Tops it.
Yeah.
Damn, I don't know how about asking this next question gonna go then.
What?
No, because also right, another in the same vein as Miss Lauryn Hill, right? You had the Wyclef Jean collab, right?
Yeah.
And you talked about how like you actually wrote, you said it was a dream for me. Fugees are one of my all-time favorite and one of my biggest influences. So creating this with Wyclef was the best time, and it's just so funny to me how you had these two Fuji like experiences in the course of this year, right? So I was gonna say, like, in the same vein as like how like that Lauryn Hill was a full circle moment for you, how is this Wyclef record a full circle moment for you?
Yo, same thing. Like, Wyclef been like, I don't have like a necessarily a direct line to Lauryn. Like, I'll email her every now and again. I don't try to do too much. Yeah. But like, sometimes I just wake up and I'm just like, yo, I'm just send sis some love, or I might have a song. I'm just like, I'm gonna just send it to her. Not necessarily get on, though. I've sent her songs to get on, to see if she wanted to get on, like just to share art, Yeah. But Clef, like, he'll be on, my line. He'll send me songs he's doing, like he'll just show love, like he pours in so much, so the relationship is just a little different in that way, but when he was like, yo, I got a song I want you to get on, and when he sent me that, it just took me back to a time, like man, I remember just sitting in the house like Indian style in front of the TV, like watching Fuji live, Ready or Not, and riding around. I got my license, permit, whatever, to the score, like I know that I'm back to front to back, the same as Miss Education. Like, these are my heroes. So, you know, you just get to pause and reflect, and one, it humanizes them. No, not in a bad way, but it's like, yo, they're just as human as I am, but man, like, look what they did with their gift and their assignment, you know. And I could look to them as an example too of, like, as hard as it could be, never be unwavering, you know, in what you're doing and your walk. You know, so it was cool, like, to play. I'm like, damn, like, I got a song with Wyclef. I remember sitting in the parking lot after going in the CD store to get the Carnival. You know what I'm saying? Like, dreams do come true. Like, it's so cool, man.
Yeah, I love that. Wyclef is also one of, like, the coolest people, like, ever.
Yeah, he's so cool and so kind and so gifted. Like, he's putting out, what, 10, 12 albums in the next year? Like, all different genres. It's nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, yeah, he's an alien.
That's crazy. Well, the last thing I'm going to ask you today, right, is that Mac Miller soul question, which actually came from a member of my team. He texted me. He's like, I need you to ask Rap this today. So the question. So back in 2016, you had the Law record, right, with Soul and Mac. He wanted to know how that came about, and also he wanted to ask about, like, your spoken word. He didn't specify, but he said your spoken word part at the end.
At the end.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm trying to think. Was that on purpose or by accident? All I remember is pulling up to the house and going down to the basement.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was necessarily a planned thing. I don't think it was, if memory serves me correctly. But anytime we were in LA, we would always stop by to see Mac. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had the crib. Like, there was one time we went and he wasn't even there. He just made people open up his house for us. He was like, yeah, use the studio. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's who he was. Like, you know, I tell people my first fans were Mac Miller fans. You know what I'm saying? He took me on my first tour. So, like, that was brother. That was family. So we were in LA. You know, him and Ab were great friends. All three of us were great friends. So I want to say I might have hit Ab. I was talking to Ab and he was just like, come pull up. So I pulled up to the house. We went down in the basement. He was down there working on the record. He played the joint. You know, Mac was on it. He was like, yo, I want you to just do some spoken word at the end, because this song is about, you know, God, but I see God as a woman. So I want you to speak from that perspective. And so I was listening to it, and I was like trying to write something. After a while, I was just like, let me just get in the booth. And I probably performed maybe 4 bars of what I wrote. And after that, like, I just let it come, you know, freestyling. And that's how, like, the spoken word piece kind of came. Like, I was just talking, you know. Like, and Ab might have just told me that. He was just like, yo, just do whatever, just freestyle type joint. So yeah, it was just a download, you know, and that's how it came to be.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Long live Mac, man. One of my favorite. This actually made me want to go re-listen to my favorite Mac albums. So I think swimming. Yeah. I will be doing that. And the Divine Feminine. Oh, such a great, Divine Feminine, such a beautiful album.
Still probably my favorite Tiny Desk performance.
Oh yeah, he's got to be the
top 3. Yeah, for sure.
Got to be the best Tiny Desk performance, in my opinion. Not. Like, it's a little bit of nostalgia mixed with actual truth. You know what I mean? A little bit of both. But I appreciate you for coming by today.
I appreciate you.
New album. I'm gonna get it right. August 22nd.
August 21st.
21st. I had the 21st. I don't know why I said the 22nd.
It's okay.
August 21st. By the time you guys see this, might be out. Might be coming out this week. But regardless, go check it out. Go stream it. New performance from Rap on the Radar. Go check that out. And then anything else you want to let the people know before we get out of here?
Yo, shouts to Mr. Porter of D12. Yes. Shouts to We Each Other. Shouts to DJ Thorough. Come here, Thorough. Come sit beside me real quick. Let me tell you something. Don't forget, for the hole in the sock, don't you ever in your life forget about the DJs. You feel me? They still the cornerstone of hip hop. Voice of the streets. This man did an amazing blend for me. Yo, shout out to Sam, Baby Sam, and Puerto Rican Rob. Baby Sam heard God got an Afro. She said, I got an idea. Because if you know Sam is the hip hop queen. I'm telling you, lyrics to go. She did 9 verses of Triumph.
We're gonna record it.
And she's gonna be on the radar.
Yeah, we're gonna record it.
She thinks she not, but she is. And she had this idea. She was like, yo, at the end of Rap's verse, she says, shining. That's like the Clips. You know what I'm saying? So she asked Thorough to blend it, and he absolutely killed it. And he put a little D'Angelo in there. So, yeah, like, yo, I had an event, 68 DJs in New York, and surrounding areas came. Like, you got to have the DJs. You got to go touch the DJs. You got to show love to the DJs, man. They still matter. You know, don't ever play the face of the DJs. You lame as hell. You know, so Thorough, thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing the blend. Baby Sam, Puerto Rican Rob, all the DJs from New York and all around the world, baby. You know what I'm saying? And shouts to On the Motherfucking Radar.
I like that.
If you ain't on this radar, it don't matter what radar you on, baby. Gabe is the one.
Talk about it.
Puerto Rican Rob, don't say nothing crazy.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. You Puerto Rican Rob,
crazy.
Shut the fuck up.
Not before my album come out, please.
Yeah.
Please, Puerto Rican Rob. Please don't make me big.
Go Hoops out August 21st. Performance out now. Thorough. Appreciate you for sliding through. Great job on the mix.
You want to say something? Get on the mic.
Good.
I just want to say thank you for your interest in, and paying attention to the DJs, because a lot of DJs get overlooked,
Facts.
And, back in the days, we were the cornerstone of hip hop,
Yeah.
Like Jazzy Jeff, DJ Scratch, Grandmaster Flash. So I have a lot of respect for her, because it's rare that you see a lot of artists in today's climate that puts the DJ on the same level with them, or just give them any light at all.
For sure.
So I am grateful for you. Thank you,
man. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Like, it's so reflected. This is hip hop, man. Y'all better man. Right. Tell them, Gabe.
Hey, man, look. On the Radar Radio. Shout out the DJ. Shout out Thorough. Shout out Rapsody. Make sure you go stream the album. Yeah. Stream the performance. Show them some love. Show them support. Love is free. Support is free. But y'all already knew that. Till next time, On the Radar, The Frequency. We out.